I hit the ground at about 45 miles an hour, partially amputating my left leg. From the waist down, you're paralyzed. I felt like my life was stripped. It ripped my heart out, and I ended up going into depression. It was hard. It was hard to accept. I did question why I even survived it. I knew that I was not going to allow this to take me down and keep me there, but there was no way I was staying there. My name is Jorge Avalos, and I'm Sergeant First Class in the U.S. Army. Well, in my 21 years in the military, I've set out to do a lot of things. Paratrooper, jump master, master jump master. I became an airborne ranger, also a sapper, which is a combat engineer. I've received my combat infantryman's badge. I tried out for the Silver Wings, which is a command exhibition parachute team for Fort Benning. My friend was opening up a drop zone, and he called it Skydive Galveston. He invited me to go out and jump on January 1st of 2011. And so we went out there to do a pretty much an inaugural jump demonstration. And once we got over the drop zone, I was getting ready to land. I was approximately 75 feet above ground level, and my canopy collapsed as I was turning in towards the wind. The left side of my canopy collapsed, and I ended up doing what's called a hook turn or a spiral into the ground. I didn't have any altitude or time to correct it, and when I did try to correct it, I was already going full flight into the ground. It hurt. It hurt pretty bad. I thought maybe, I thought maybe I just bounced and that I'd be able to walk away, but as I hit, I felt the impact in my legs. I flipped over my head, my helmet scraped the ground, and I landed on my back. When I looked up or towards my legs, that's when I noticed that my leg was pointing in the wrong direction. The impact ended up crushing my left foot, partially amputating my left leg, and bursting my L3 on my lower back. And once everybody ran towards me, I pretty much told them not to touch me because I knew something was wrong with me other than just my leg. That moment I pulled out my camera and just took a picture of my leg. And I handed my camera off to a friend of mine and just said, start taking pictures. And just because I knew I was going to need to have record of everything that was going on. Once I got to the hospital, everything started becoming a blur. That's when they ended up salvaging my leg, reattaching and putting an external fixator on my leg. One of the first things I had asked him, I said, well, will I be able to jump again? And he looks at me with a perplexed look, and he's like, well, no, you broke your back. From the waist down, you're paralyzed. You pretty much broke your leg off. I said, okay, but will I jump? And when he said no for the second time, that's pretty much when I started crying, because it just pretty much hurt that there was something that I loved so much that I wasn't going to be able to do anymore. But it didn't really click in my head that I was not going to be able to walk. And when he told me that, it started sinking in slowly. That's when I realized, wow, my life has changed. Not only am I not going to be able to jump anymore, I'm not going to be able to do any of the other things that I want to do, especially thinking about my son. I'm a single father, and thinking about not being able to do the things that I wanted to do with him, not just watch him do it, but do these things in life with him. It was an emotional time. And when I was in the hospital room, I sent a message to my son's mother. Her reply to me was, ha ha ha, karma's a bitch. One thing I learned about life is that you can't argue with stupid or crazy. A couple days later, I tried contacting her so I could speak with my son, and she refused to accept my calls. I would send messages, and there was still no way that I was able to get in communication with him. I felt like my life was stripped away or taken away from what I'd known. It ripped my heart out, and I ended up going into depression. I really didn't know how to deal with any of this, because for the most part of my life, things had been going my way. And all of a sudden, here it is, I have a detour in life that I have no control over, and pretty much looked up to God, and I was asking him why, but it was hard. It was hard to accept. I did question why I even survived it. I I didn't even know why, especially if my life was going to be so different. Having been strong in faith with the Lord, I knew that there was a reason I survived. I pretty much gave it up to God, and I said, God, you obviously had me survive this for a reason. I'm going to do my part. I'll let you take care of the impossible, and I'll take care of the possible. I asked for the nurses to put a trapeze over my head on my bed. That way I could just adjust myself and lift myself up. As soon as they put the trapeze, I started lifting myself up, and as soon as they would walk out, I started doing pull-ups. So every opportunity I got, I was doing what I could to lift my legs. I was trying to force myself out of bed because I just didn't want to lay there. I knew that I was not going to allow this to take me down and keep me there. There was no way I was staying there. They were still telling me that I wouldn't be able to walk for about 4 months, and I ended up walking out of that hospital in less than 2 months. It didn't surprise me that I was pushing myself as hard, and I was just grateful that I was able to. I was grateful to God that I was able to go on. Yeah, in less than 2 months, I walked out of the hospital with crutches, but I was moving my legs. I was actually bearing weight on my legs, and I needed to get out of there and go home. Okay, so my life has changed. Deal with it. Since you can't do the things that you wanted to do in life, find something else to do in life. And cycling became that one thing that helped me just mentally accept everything that was coming my way. And in January of 2012, I got back on a road bike and decided to start cycling again, and figured that I could get myself better through nutrition and exercise rather than all these medications that they had me on. After having been pretty much confined trapped in my own body for that year, but I got back on that bike, and it felt exhilarating. It's like, wow, I'm actually doing something for myself again. It hurt. It did hurt, but I didn't mind at all because I knew it was a good hurt. It was something that was going to get me better. So I started riding every single day, and I pushed myself every day, going at least 20 miles a day, sometimes going up to 60. And it turned out to be very beneficial because once I got to the Texas Challenge, and we rode from San Antonio to Dallas, I became such a strong rider that I was actually pushing people that were in the back, pushing people uphill, and I got to start pushing hand cycles. It took my mind off of my pain, knowing that I needed to help somebody else get up that hill. And it was kind of a relief, in fact, that I was strong enough not just to ride for myself, but to help somebody else get up those hills. Then I started, slowly but surely started running. I was swimming already, started running, and began doing triathlons. Once I started running again, everything was it felt like things were going my way again. So as I was training for the Warrior Games, on Thanksgiving Day, I was just doing a 40-mile training ride, and that's when I ended up getting hit from behind by a pickup truck. And he hit me pretty much dead center of his vehicle, and it was on a 4-lane highway. The roads were pretty much empty, but he pretty much ran me over, and my back ended up hitting the hood and the grill of the vehicle, which ended up destroying that and stopping the vehicle as well. All I remember was hearing scraping sounds and it being black. I tried to sit up, but I couldn't because of the immense pain that I had in my back. Well, the results of that were the same leg that I had damaged from my first injury ended up breaking that ankle into 6 pieces and breaking the tibia and the fibula of that leg at the base of the titanium rod that I already had in my leg from my first injury. Broke 4 ribs and 3 thoracic vertebrae, and on top of that bruised my left kidney and my liver. My kidney ended up rupturing, and I ended up with 2 liters of fluid under my rib cage. Now I have a nephrostomy tube sticking out of my kidney and draining into a bag because I'm expected to have surgery in July of 2013. I asked my urologist if I could still ride, because while I was in the hospital, that's all I wanted to do was just get back on the bike. Even though it was being on a bicycle that caused me to be in in that situation, I didn't care. I wanted to get back on the bike right away. And since then, I've ridden about 2,000 miles, and it's only been, I want to say, about 5 months now. I know that everything's happening for a reason. I never expected to get to this level with cycling, but God's been good to me because I know that I can't quit. I cannot give up because I have a son that I got to raise. My son has definitely been one of the biggest parts in my life that has allowed me to just continue on with life. I'm grateful. I'm completely grateful that things have happened to me, and it's allowed me to see life in a different aspect. No matter what happens in life, you just can't quit. You can't stop. You can't dwell on the past. There's no changing it. All you can do now is just write your future, and that no matter what life brings you, just continue.